Hello, everyone. This is James Boucher from James Makes Films podcast, and I'm talking about no budget filmmaking tips and all sorts of stuff, maybe even movie reviews. We'll see. This episode, we're going to get right to it. This episode is about things you need while filming in a forest. I'm sure many will have even more tips on this than what I'm going to provide, but I'm going to provide as many tips as I can based on my own experience. Now, I wouldn't recommend filming too deep into a forest just because of safety and all that, but if you're filming like near a park, I have a list here of things that I could recommend you bring, especially if not just for yourself, but even if you're involving actors. So one thing, whether it's overcast or not, of course, is sunblock. Sunblock is definitely something you're going to want on hand because even if it's overcast, the sun rays still beam through those clouds. You'd be surprised how much it can go through even on an overcast day. So sunblock, of course, for protection. Of course, you're going to want water. You're going to want extra water. So you're going to definitely want some hydration. Anything that could be hydration. Mosquitoes, you'd be surprised again, especially on a day after it rains. On a day after it rains, mosquitoes are just all over the place and they suck. So I definitely recommend some mosquito repellent. Not all work 100% effectively, but I think a little bit if you find sort of a non-toxic one for your skin, definitely one to recommend. So as in regards to actual filming, you're going to want like some good sealable strong bags, not just for your food, but also for your equipment and costumes. You could set your bag down somewhere and be surprised that somehow, some way, dirt or a bug gets in your bag. So you're going to want things as sealable as possible, but also you're going to want things as compact as possible because you're going to be lugging stuff around in the forest. You're going to want to go as light as possible. I find packing one bag too much can actually be a nuisance. So sometimes packing a bag almost to its brink and then carrying something on the other arm, and then you can switch it up to help give your body a bit of that bit of balance, the weight distribution. So other things you're going to want while filming in a forest, I have this reflector that I use occasionally. It's hard when you're filming by yourself. If you're this is your first time listening to my podcast, these films generally are no budget filmmaking, and usually that means you're doing everything yourself. But one of those deflectors, those foldable deflectors, are sort of an aluminum siding which helps to reflect light. Reflector, deflector. A reflector, it bounces light onto your subject. Not the best for wide shots. In fact, it's almost useless for wide shots, but definitely usable for your close-ups if you can get the right angle. Now, the sun will change directions on you throughout the day. You can always cheat your actors by switching them if you're still working on a close-up or if you do a medium shot and the sun is on one side and then for some reason you had to do like a quick other shot or change or rush to do another scene, then you come back. You can always cheat your actors so the sun is always on the other side. So you want to keep an eye on the sun. Where is it shining? The other thing is you want the sun to, sometimes the sun will blast too much light and then your actors are squinting. This is especially true if the reflector. Sometimes you'll have the reflector and it's going right in their eyes, and in camera it looks like a better shot. But when they're squinting and it's hard for them to perform, quite honestly, it's a useless shot. You want to keep an eye on that sun. You want to keep an eye on where you're reflecting light if you are using a reflector. Other thing you want to note is good pair of shoes, and I'd recommend even if your actor for some strange reason is wearing, if they're wearing steel toe shoes because of the character, dress shoes, why walk through the forest in those kind of shoes? It sucks. I tried it. It hurts the ankles, especially when you come home. So you want the most comfortable shoes possible. Yes, it means you'll be carrying, your prop shoes or costume shoes, whatever you want to call it. But you will not regret it because you will move through the forest a lot more easily with a lot less pain. So what do we got? We got sunblock, we got mosquito repellent, we got the hydration, a reflector, sealable bags. What else are you going to need and want in a forest? You're going to want some sanitation wipes. However, you have to keep an eye on what wipes you get because some wipes are meant for skin and some are not. And you want to make sure you get the ones meant for skin, because if you get something like Lysol and it's the one meant for multi-surface cleaning, you put that on your hands, it's going to be aggravation. It's going to dry them out. It's going to feel like they've been scraped. Definitely not the right chemical for that job. So you're going to want some skin-safe wipes. You can even just go with finding some baby wipes. Those are actually really handy because you'd be surprised on, again, with the dirt. Because in the forest, anything can happen. You could be messing around with a tripod, taking it apart. A prop could fall in the ground, anything. And then your hands start to get a bit dirty. You could be dealing with a costume situation. Another thing you're going to want is a lint roller. Because again, debris, anything can happen and get on that costume, so you're going to want something to kind of brush that off. Other things you're going to want while you're filming in a forest: a flashlight, just in case. Definitely for night shooting. Don't just rely on your cell phone. You're going to want that phone really charged up. But you're definitely going to not want to rely on your phone and drain the battery by using a flashlight on there. So it'd be best to get an LED flashlight, get some extra batteries. That'll be extra useful. And you're also going to want a cloth, just for any purpose whatsoever. If you're filming by yourself, maybe with the sweat factor, you're going to want to wipe off some sweat. Another thing you're going to want to do is dress weather appropriate. I know this is common sense, but if it looks like it's going to rain, remember to have an umbrella and something to hold the umbrella over the camera with. One thing I could recommend is if you have a tripod, in fact, I would bring a tripod regardless, you're going to want a clamp and an umbrella. Now your camera, either you're using a selfie stick or some sort of apparatus that you can attach to your tripod with the camera, you can clamp the umbrella right above so it can protect your camera as you're filming. Just keep an eye on your camera line, the lens, to make sure the umbrella is not hovering above in the frame. You're also going to want to bring your rain jacket. You're going to want to bring some sort of case for your phone or case for your camera, something waterproof. Finding even a sealable plastic bag can help protect, especially when the rain gets heavy. You're also going to want to think about whether it's going to get a bit colder or even if it's really hot. Why not have an extra shirt? Because if you sweat through that shirt, at least you can change it. Because what also sucks is walking around in a sweat-drenched shirt. What happens is sometimes when things start to cool down and your shirt is damp, it's not the best way to prevent a cold. So maybe switching up that shirt. So those are the things that I could think of that you might want to bring into a forest on your filming. Whether you're making a video, short film, feature, web series, whatever it is. This is James Boutcher from James Makes Films. We'll talk soon.